Hello, I'm Nathaniel Smith, and today, or actually tonight to be specific, I'm going to do a follow-up to the previous video I made. Now, I made a video sort of backlashing a little bit on MGM's Wizard of Oz, but remember, a lot of this is due because this, the original Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, is so underly recognized and so much more superior than the MGM film. So I figured, since I did even mention it in the last video, to sort of give a list of the best adaptations of the film adaptations of the books that I know of. One other thing I will say, although I haven't found any per se, there are supposed to be like a few animes that are even faithful, though I'm not sure about any of them. I don't know that much about anime, but I'm letting any of you know that's interested that's out there somewhere. But anyways, this is the list of the best adaptations that basically are kind of the most faithful in some way. So starting on the back end of this list, I'm not even going to numerize them. Actually, maybe I should. Let's just numberize this, whatever the number is, 1.865 billion something, I don't know. Tin Man. Now, let me explain that the Tin Man miniseries, it's not like the most perfect, I guess. I mean, it is mostly an action-adventure kind of film. But there are some great aspects about Tin Man. One, they really demonstrate Oz as a real place and not a dream, which is the most, plus sign for this. Also, this Tin Man has the closest we're ever going to see on screen of the sequence towards the later half in the first book, where Dorothy gets kidnapped and basically becomes a slave to the Wicked Witch, and the lion gets imprisoned in a cage, and the Scarecrow and Tin Man are left for dead. Yeah, we actually get a sequence somewhat like that in this mini-series. So, to say it's pretty sweet is pretty sweet, yeah. It is kind of like a decently written fanfic in the aspect of, okay, we're going to jump way on years in the future in the world of Oz and see how it's changed in such a long period of time. And in that respect, it really works. There's a lot of beautiful design work and a lot of creativity in how the world of Oz sort of evolved technologically and so forth, with the sort of stepping stones that have already been placed in the original book, leading to a decent sci fantasy kind of adventure film that's really fun and really acted well for the most part. So, yay! The next in the list is the 1910 Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Now, I know this isn't an exact, perfect adaptation of the book, but to be fair, there's two things that plus this. One, it's a short. It's not like a full-length film. So that is decent enough to explain why it isn't a direct adaptation exactly. And two, and this is also very important to note, is, how do I say this? It's in black and white and they had limited effects and so forth. But for what it was worth, they did a fantastic job. So, yeah, kudos to that. Well, the next is an actual cartoon of the Wizard of Oz. I don't know much about it per se, but it's a really good cartoon. It actually came out before the MGM film. It actually had the black and white to color segment beforehand. It's a beautifully done, short cartoon that's really well handled and done. So, yeah. And the next one is probably the best adaptation that was done by other people that didn't involve L. Frank Baum, and that is Return to Oz. Now, the craziest thing about Return to Oz is how many people backlash this film. And all because of that fucking MGM film, trying to say I wasn't like a faithful successor to the, MGM movie. When in fact, Return to Oz is a faithful adaptation of the world of Oz. Not like T for T per se, like word for word, but in the aspect of being thematically in theme and feel and overall aspect visually and emotionally and all other things, just like the books. Really, Return to Oz captures the spirit of the books of Oz so much better than that fucking MGM movie. And the fact that Return to Oz gets backlashed and panned and underrated so fucking severely, even though it's more faithful in every aspect to the books, and backlash for no other reason than that fucking MGM film, kind of makes me a little more disliking of the MGM film. Because Return to Oz, it's just a... If you haven't seen Return to Oz, really, go look it up, watch it. It's an amazing film. And yeah. And then, for the number one spot, if you will, is not one, not two, but 3 movies. And these 3 movies are His Majesty, the Scarecrow of Oz, the Magic Cloak of Oz, and the Patchwork Girl of Oz. Now, if you're wondering why these are the, number one spot, all 3 of them, on par with each other, it's because of one reason. That reason is, these films were basically all created from L. Frank Baum. The actual author himself made these movies. Yes, they are silent films. Yes, they don't necessarily have the best effects. But there's the beautiful, whimsical charm and some of the darker aspects in there that you rarely see. And on top of that, you even get to see the Tin Man cut off someone's head in one of them. Yay, we get to see the Tin Man being a bit badass, which we rarely see. Actually, Tin Man did show Tin Man being a bit badass, but in a different way. Anyways, point is, L. Frank Baum's 3 films that are well known of are literally, well, should be well known of, but they're literally the best adaptations of the world of Oz by the man who understood him the most. And that's still true today. Could there be better adaptations of the world of Oz? Sure. But it'd mean finally ditching that fucking MGM movie. Which will never happen, let's face it. That film is stuck, ingrained in everyone's brain, and no one's gonna let it go. Oh well. At least we have this short list that I've made. Unnumerized, I apologize. That... Yeah, there's a pretty good list of films to check out if you're really into the world of Oz being somewhat done faithfully in terms of the books in some way. So yeah, there you go.